I think I'm live. I think I am. So, all right. We'll be here for about 30 or so. Let's talk some brackets. Games about to start in about an hour. You have Texas Southern and Mount St. Mary's to lead us off. And then we have overlapping Drake, Wichita State. And then you have Appalachian State and Norfolk State. And then UCLA, Wichita State. So a lot of states between the two tonight. And 4 games, and we'll get going tomorrow at 11:15 a.m. Central. You'll have Virginia Tech and Florida, which is a 7-10 matchup up over there on my bracket, which you can't see because it's small in the South region. So winner of that will play winner of Oral Roberts, Ohio State. So you're going to have 4 games starting from 11:15 a.m. to 12:45, 30 minutes between tip-offs. It's going to be a little bit different, in terms of start times and all that, but it's going to be exciting. That first game will tip off on CBS. I got the schedule in front of me here for tomorrow and then Saturday. We're going to talk about, I guess, my bracket picks. I want you to tell me your bracket picks or ask me questions for your bracket picks, all that stuff right now. But, we'll start with tonight and what we're going to see tonight. And, the 16 seed first 4 games are kind of looked at as, boring, which, neither team is that good. I mean, I think we have that established by now. And, to do this with the first game, you have Mount St. Mary's, Texas Southern. The winner of that will play the Michigan Wolverines, the 1 seed in the East region, as I get my East region binder out, which is filled with a Ken Palm report of every team in the region. Definitely not a nerdy thing to do. I just love ball, I do. So we're going to look here. I already know a lot of things about teams based on the fact that I've been watching for months, the entire season. I'm not one of the people that comes in late. And I have established, rankings and stuff, all that. But, I do like Texas Southern in this game. I think that if you look at the way that these two teams match up, my write-up here, I got a page of my write-ups for each game. And the first 4 games, I think Texas Southern does win this game. I have it 65-60, which is kind of the top of my head score. There's nothing too analytical that goes into it when I pick scores. I mean, at some point, I'll have a team scoring over 80 because that I like their offense and the team they're matched up against. There's some points where it's like a Rutgers Clemson game, which I would expect to be, a defensive bloodbath. And I think I can see that being the case in that game. I don't know if it will be because sometimes you're wrong on these, sometimes you're right. And, you never know, right? I don't think you do. But, it's kind of a toss-up, right? It is. But if you look at Texas Southern, they're pretty not good overall in the numbers. You look at some of their losses in non-conference. They did lose to Auburn and BYU. So Auburn was a solid team this year. They were obviously banned from the tournament, so they weren't able to be in it this year. But BYU is a 6th seed. They lost to BYU by 16. They lost to Oklahoma State by 20. That's another tournament team who's the 4th seed, of course, in the Midwest. But, I think the difference here is that Texas Southern's a high-paced team, and they have a high-major guy that came over. Michael Weathers, a transfer from Oklahoma State, who is a terrific player for them and really matches up well with this team. And, they don't have a ton of size underneath. They got a guy, Jordan Gilliam, 6'5", playing the 2. They do have some length overall if you look at the way that their 2-3-4 matchup, but they don't have a real 5 to go along with that. And I don't think Mount St. Mary's has the speed and the tempo to keep up with this Texas Southern team. So I do like Texas Southern. And just overall with Mount St. Mary's, I mean, I like the way that Damian Chongqui plays. And I like the fact that they have 3 guys above 6'8" that start in their lineup. So there's a lot of length there. But at the end of the day, I'll take Texas Southern. Let's go to the next one, Drake and Wichita State, which is, of course, an 11-on-11 game. Winner will play USC in the West region. And, that's a really solid game. I think both of the 11 seed games are pretty damn good overall. I mean, I do. I just think that, Drake is better than Wichita State. I flat out think that. I have it at 67-59, Drake winning. I just think that the problem for VCU, or the problem for Wichita State rather, is they're going to struggle to rebound against this Drake team. I think Darnell Brody at the 5 makes a big difference. 6'10", 275. You got a big body there. You have likely Shanquan Hemphill starting again back in the lineup. I don't know how you don't play Joe Yesufu in there. He's been excellent as their one guard since Hemphill went down. I like this Drake team a lot more than I like, the Shockers. As fun as it is when the Shockers make runs and such, I just think that Drake is a lot better than them. You look at Drake 19th in the country in offensive efficiency. I think that's going to make a big difference. And then you look at the little more balance for Wichita State in terms of how close their offense and defense are together. But I do like Wichita State in that game. Why did I just say that? I like Drake in the game. I'm getting so distracted. I got a million things going.
I'm here. Sorry. I apologize.
Cool. It's cool. I was going to put this background on there, but I think I'm just going to put Hinkle Fieldhouse, which is where the Final Four should be. I did have 8 viewers in here when this first started. Now it's dead. So
you broke it, huh?
I think my Texas Southern comment could have rubbed people the wrong way. I thought that they were going to win, and maybe there's some Mount St. Mary's people in here. That could be a problem, but you never know. So who would you say that you would bet on or take in the Texas Southern Mount St. Mary's game? It's a big game.
I mean, I think you got to go with the shorts, right?
I 100%.
I don't know how you don't go with the shorts. So
also, I think a big difference in this game, and if we're going to look analytically, is that Texas Southern is a top 100 team in tempo. I think they're way up there. And then Mount St. Mary's is one of the slowest teams in adjusted tempo. They're 356 in the country. There's a huge mismatch in that, and both teams are not good. That's why it's a 16-seed playing game. But, Michigan is not going to have a problem with either of these teams. I'd honestly be surprised if Michigan gave up more than 60 points against either of these teams. But do you like Drake over Wichita State like I do?
I do. Is Hemphill back?
Yeah.
I haven't been able to keep up, but yeah.
He is expected to play.
I think Drake could win a couple. So.
I mean, I think it's a tough game for USC, whoever they play out of this one.
Mm-hmm.
But I really like Drake in this game because, I think the size difference is going to make a big difference underneath. Darnell Brody, 6'10", 275. The guy that starts at the 5 for the what the hell's the team? Wichita State is 6'8", 230. Yeah. So it's going to be a big difference in rebounding. And I think Wichita State relies too much on threes. That's going to kill them. Look at the fact they almost lost to South Florida, and they did lose to Cincinnati in the American tournament. So those both killed them. And the other game, the third game of the night, I guess, which these games are going to overlap, which does kind of suck, but everything's going to overlap because the way that the schedule comes together tomorrow, it's a whole big thing. But Norfolk State, Appalachian State, I don't really have a feel on this game. My only feel is that Appalachian State's never won a game in the NCAA tournament before, and they look so bad in the Sun Belt Championship and semifinal, but they won. So I would roll with them. I don't know. These teams are bad.
Norfolk State didn't really get to play, with all the COVID issues. So I'm going to go with Appalachian State. I got a feeling that they're going to win. What's the spread on that?
Yeah, I picked it yesterday. I think it was like 2.5 Appalachian State. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm kind of surprised they're favored. I don't know. I think I would have liked there's other teams that I would have liked to beat Appalachian State if someone else came out and played. If someone what the hell conference the MEAC, if someone came out there like Morgan State would have been probably better.
Yeah,
maybe. I mean, they're close, but I don't know. I just think that this game is going to be pretty ugly. I mean, neither of these teams really – I mean, we watched Coastal Carolina, Appalachian State was embarrassing at the end.
It was not pretty. Do you think they score over 60 apiece?
I have it at 68-66. So I do think that they do because I think that neither team can defend at all.
Sure.
Like you have Appalachian State 206th in adjusted defensive efficiency, and you have Norfolk State at 219th. And you have a Norfolk State team that gave up a lot of points in non-conference, not a ton. I mean, they did give up 80 to UNC Wilmington, 80 to Old Dominion, but I mean, their competition is not any good, so it's hard to
Right.
kind of gauge that. But I would take Appalachian State in that game. I don't know. Then Michigan State, UCLA. I feel like this game is it should be hyped up because it's a good first four game, but it's being overhyped. I mean, seriously, neither of these teams is really that good.
Yeah, both of them have struggled. They've had signs of I wouldn't say greatness, but
I'm surprised
you know,
UCLA ended up in this spot. I really am.
Yeah,
I think Oregon State and Georgetown winning completely screwed UCLA
true.
more than anybody in the first four.
Yeah,
Because UCLA was like one of the top teams in the Pac-12 for most of the season. They've lost a lot of games in the year, but you look at how close those games were. They blew a lead against Oregon. They had a buzzer beater hit on them against USC. Honestly, I think UCLA is better than Michigan State, and I don't even think it's that close. But the January-February ISO factor, I have to take Sparty by 3, 72-69 is what my pick is. I mean,
yeah. I think Florida State's going to be too tough. The Big Ten's a different beast than the old Pac-12. So I don't. Michigan State was rolling. I just don't see how they lose this game, honestly.
Yeah, I do. If I had to pick one of the two starting lineups and who's better, I would think UCLA is better. But I think Michigan State's going to win. I mean, I don't know. I just don't want to bet against Tom Izzo in this scenario.
Not in the tournament, no.
And a lot of people are going to pick them to win in round one. I'm not, but we'll get into that in a minute. But yeah, so I'm taking Texas Southern, Drake, Appalachian State, Michigan State tonight. Are we in agreement on those? Pretty much.
Yeah.
Close enough. Yeah.
Seems,
all right. So
correct.
Tomorrow we will have the South region and the Midwest region play. I think it's just those two regions playing all their games. I think they're splitting it, I guess. But, I mean, you're going to kick it off. You got Virginia Tech, Florida. And this is another hard game to read because, I mean, is either of these teams really any good at this point? Not really.
Right.
I mean, I'm kind of surprised Florida ended up as a 7. The fact that I think Loyola Chicago may have been more worthy of a 7, even though I do think people saying that Loyola Chicago was underseeded is a bit of an overstatement at this point. I don't think that they were that underseeded, but
yeah,
the only team that has a real argument with that, I think, is Oklahoma State and Oregon, maybe. But I think Oregon was just because their talent level of Oregon so high is how you can say that they were underseeded. But so Florida Virginia Tech is not a great game to start, but we're gonna do it. And I don't know. I like Florida in this game. I think both of these teams very balanced. I mean, their numbers are similar defensively and offensively. But I think Colin Castleton, who's a big man for Florida, is going to make a difference here. And I don't know. I don't really look at Mike Young as a guy who's going to win tournament games, except for when he was at Wofford. So I don't know. I think you like the Hokies, don't you?
I do like the Hokies. I think the Hokies have a chance to win a couple. I don't. The ACC wasn't great this year, but Virginia Tech won a couple of good games. So I just got a feeling. I don't think Florida's got.
I feel like Florida makes runs though a lot in tournaments.
Virginia Tech ranked early, had wins over Villanova, Clemson. Decent good team. I think that they can run. So.
I like Florida because I usually always pick against Florida in tournaments, and they always make a run. So, but I don't think either of these teams has much of a chance against Ohio State, though. I mean, unless Oral Roberts wins.
You never know how Ohio State's going to come out, though.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
could be a clunker.
I think this is going to be a year, even though I didn't really pick it this way, I think this is going to be a year where the SEC really struggles in the tournament. I don't think any of those teams are going to make that significant of runs.
Really?
I don't think so. I think we're going to see
even the really good ones.
Yeah, you'll see
Alabama.
I think that they're done in round 2.
Okay. Oh yeah, I forgot you love UConn. My bad.
UConn. Yeah.
How much you love UConn.
You want to talk about defense? Look at the Huskies. Second game features another SEC team. This time it's Arkansas Colgate. What a game that is. Whew. Not really at all, but
I don't know, man. Colgate, super.
They're a super offense, right?
I mean, they got screwed. Being number 9 in the net and you're 14 rank. What's going on here?
If that doesn't push them to change things, then I don't know what will.
Yeah, exactly.
This is a Colgate team that's 44th in offensive efficiency, but they haven't ever played a real defense.
Do you have Colgate winning this game? You think the SEC is so bad?
No, I think Arkansas will be one of the only. I think I have Arkansas as the only SEC team in the Sweet 16. I'm on the Muss Bus. Eric Musselman, hell of a coach.
I agree.
Okay, so have you filled out a bracket officially?
I have. I got my
because we did do the.
I actually just did it.
Okay, so we did do the shoot from the hip one.
I don't have Michigan's. I don't have the Michigan State UC because I want to see who wins the game and I want to see how they play. So I haven't even picked that one. They're probably either team that wins the BYU Michigan State UCLA game is going to lose it to Texas, but.
Unless Abilene Christian does something. Abilene Christian is amazing in the fact that they are that they're like 30th in defensive efficiency.
Yeah.
True. Unreal. It really is. I don't know how this is going to go, but we'll go over the bracket here because I do have a lot of things in front of me, so much information that I don't even know what to do. I do want to put this up there, though. I saw this laying around. This is a Gonzaga Sports Illustrated.
Wow.
The program. And it's the stupidest thing ever. It says, if you still think who thinks Gonzaga is still a Cinderella? Who thinks that? Nobody. I mean, what a weird headline. Jesus. They're the number one overall seed. We got a comment here on Facebook that I'm seeing on my phone that says Winthrop versus Villanova. That's in the question mark. So I'm assuming who do you think wins Winthrop Villanova?
I think it's a common pick is Winthrop, and I think it's a very good pick.
It's one of the only ones that's one of the only common upsets that I went with.
Yeah,
I did have some upsets that I think I'm the only one that's actually doing in the entire world.
Okay,
but I do like Winthrop at this game because Winthrop can score in so many different ways. DJ Burns underneath is going to be a lot to handle for them, and then the fact that you have a 6'7" point guard that can make a ton of plays and doesn't have to be on the scoring sheet to affect the game. Really hurts them. And Colin Gillespie is the ultimate, killer injury for a team. And I mean, the only thing that makes you feel a little bit better about Nova is that Creighton got obliterated by Georgetown, and Villanova probably should have beaten Georgetown in that game. Maybe that makes you feel a little bit better, but I do like Winthrop in that game. And I think the line is 6.5. Villanova minus 6.5 in that game. Yeah. That is an 8:57 game. Last game that starts tomorrow. That'll be on TNT. So we got out of the 4 windows of games, I would say that the late window is the best because you got San Diego State, Syracuse, West Virginia, Morehead State, Clemson, Rutgers, Winthrop, Villanova. It's pretty good. I think the first window, exactly, which I do have that right now.
Obviously.
Yeah, I had a whole big thing in here, but the early window sucks. I mean, Florida, Virginia Tech's fine, whatever, not that great. Then you got Arkansas, Colgate, whatever, Illinois, Drexel. If a 16 seed wins, I'd be floored. But,
yeah, true.
Could the Illini come out and mess everything up? Why not? Maybe.
Oh, don't say it.
I'm a little worried about that. I want to get over the hump.
You would say that.
I'm so worried when my teams play games no matter what.
True.
It's a big thing that I have. Texas Tech, Utah State's the 4th game that starts tomorrow. But let's go now to the bracket, and we're going to start in the West region. And we're going to start with the first 2 games, which is Gonzaga against what we have as App State, and then Oklahoma, Missouri. And who are you picking in those 2? I think you're going to take Gonzaga. I'm not sure though.
I do have the Zags winning the first one.
It's a tough game for them.
Yeah. And then who else you say? Oklahoma,
Missouri? And Missouri.
I got Mizzou winning that game.
Okay, so do you factor in the Davion Harmon injury, or would you have already picked Mizzou anyway? Because I think I was leaning towards picking Mizzou anyway.
I picked Mizzou anyways. I didn't even know that Harmon was injured. There you go.
I don't think it's an injury. I think it's COVID. I don't know why. I always think injury, but I think it's COVID. But
It's the same thing. Can't play.
yeah, you can't play. Well, you could be with the team if you were injured.
Sure.
So that's a little bit of a difference. But here's what I wrote about Gonzaga App State. I have a whole sheet here of my quick thoughts on each game with a score prediction. Here's what I wrote about Gonzaga. I get the sense that they'll be able to rest their starters within the last 15 minutes or so. This should be a warm-up game for them. Prediction, Gonzaga 105, App State 48. So I'll take the Zags by 57, which is by far the biggest margin between the games.
We think the spread's going to be 30-something.
I got it on here, I think. Or no, there's no spread.
I can't have one yet.
Son of a... It's got to be like 35, right? I mean, you look at the other two.
I would assume.
Illinois is 22.5 against Drexel, and Baylor's 25.5 against Hartford.
Yeah.
And Michigan's probably going to be 28 or 30, and then Gonzaga's going to be 35, probably, if I had to guess. But I don't think they'll have trouble covering that. Oklahoma, Missouri, I said both these teams limped in to the tournament, which is true. And they have similar metrics. But if we're going to look at March, I think toughness matters. I think Missouri has it. I don't know if Oklahoma does. 72-64 Missouri in that game is where I would go. Then the next two are very controversial because there's so many upset picks between these two games. A lot of people go one way, a lot of people not go in some ways. Creighton, UCSB, and then Virginia, Ohio. What do you got in those two?
I'm going to take UCSB. I think that's one of the picks everybody's taken. And then I'm going to take Virginia. I think Virginia is going to be fine against Ohio. I know a lot of people are thinking that Preston's going to, play like he did against Illinois, but I don't see it happening.
So I really like UCSB as a team. I think they're great. But this one has been so one-sided that I'm taking Creighton.
There you go.
82-78 Creighton. I think people tend to underrate. This is what I wrote. People tend to underrate how good the Blue Jays offense is, or it can be, with Zagorowski and Mitch Ballock, which are two of the best scorers in the Big East. And UCSB is very good. I like them a lot. Corey McLaughlin's a stud. We all know that. They have high major transfers, all that stuff. But this is such a one-sided upset that I'm just going to take Creighton. I don't know. Yeah, everyone thinks UCSB is a lock for the Sweet 16.
There you go.
I had to do it on this one. And then I'm going to take Ohio over Virginia. Minnie will like to take the Bobcats as an upset special due to the COVID issues and how lackluster UVA's looked at times. Ohio's really good. It's not even that much of an upset in my opinion. I think Ohio is very good. I don't think Virginia's that good. I think that they're one of the really, really overrated teams in this tournament. And I think the two top overrated teams in this tournament are Oklahoma and Missouri. So they play each other. So one of them will be gone anyway. But Virginia is quite overrated in my opinion. They're not getting there until Friday. They're not even in Indy right now, which I think is a problem. Virginia's minus 7.5. I'll take Ohio to win. And I think Ohio has a chance to get to the Sweet 16, to be honest. Maybe I picked them to do that. We'll see. Yeah, I don't have the time for that. USC Drake is what we have for 6-11. And then Kansas, Eastern Washington for 3-14. Who you got in those?
This is a game that I haven't picked yet. I want to see how Drake plays.
But you'll take USC probably, right? So
it depends on how Drake plays, how they look.
They have Darnell Birdie at the 5, but I don't think Mobley's going to have that much trouble dominating the game.
And then I got Kansas winning. So
I'm taking USC to beat Drake. If this matchup happens, I'll take USC to beat Wichita State. Don't care. Their X factor, though, everyone's going to think the X factor for USC is Evan Mobley. Yeah. No, it's Tajidi. And if he shoots well, man, this team could be really good. And I think we could be set up for a potential Pac-12 matchup in the Sweet 16. We'll see. I do like that pick. I know a lot of people are not going to do that, but I'm going to do it. Eastern Washington has no shot in this game. Kansas is not great. They're going to be without Jalen Wilson, I think. I don't know if McCormick's back. I thought I read that he was, but I'm not 100% sure. Let me double-check that. Because I did pick a pretty close score because I was assuming McCormick would be out. But he is going to play, I think. Okay, so McCormick's playing. Wilson and Inaruna are not. I'll take Kansas. I had them winning by 6 without McCormick. With McCormick, probably 10, 15. He can dominate the boards for sure. And I kind of feel bad that I printed all this information. I'm not even looking at it while I'm picking stuff. So that's, bad look for me. Anyway.
Your printers, all those trees are not very happy with you right now.
Definitely not. No, I would say that anyone who's a tree environmentalist lover person
Any
shouldn't be
trees
watching
are
this
going to be
program.
upset. All right, hold
Yeah.
on.
All right. So before we get into Oregon VCU and Iowa Grand Canyon, which, those are chalk picks to me, I think. I'll tell you when those games are happening right now. So Oregon VCU will be a late nighter Saturday night, 8:57 p.m. Central Standard Time. And then Iowa and Grand Canyon will be 5:25 Central Standard tomorrow. Both of those games, one on TBS, one on TNT. Oregon VCU, you got to take the Ducks, right?
I got the Ducks. You've been talking about them too much. You like their coach. I hear she aligns Rubik's cubes.
All right.
So I got to take the Ducks.
I mean, the Ducks are one of those teams every year. I got to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I think I had them going to the Elite Eight.
You got me so high on the Ducks. I got them beating Iowa too. So just letting you know.
I also did that.
There's
certain few teams every year that I have.
You probably got the Ducks in the Final Four, don't you?
I was tempted. I really was. But I can't do that. But the length and the talent factor, Oregon is right there with everybody. They have an elite coach in March, well over 500. Dana Altman aligns the Rubik's cubes.
Yes.
This is another pick where I feel like the 7-10 matchups, other than Florida, Virginia Tech, are like so universally one way right now. Like everybody loves UConn, Rutgers, and Oregon. I think everybody loves Rutgers, right? I mean, how can you love Clemson? That team's atrocious.
True.
But Iowa, Grand Canyon. I did write Grand Canyon led by Bryce Drew is going to give problems to the Hawkeyes in the first half because they're very good defensively, and they do defend fairly well for a 15 seed. They're probably the best defensive team right next to Iona. They're probably better than Iona defensively, to be honest, in the 15, bracket length size thing.
You think if Iowa has an off shooting day that Grand Canyon could win that?
No.
Okay.
If Iowa, I mean, the thing you could say they're going to have an off shooting day, but here's what you do, okay? Let's just look at Grand Canyon in their lineup as I pull out their Ken Palm sheet right now, as I'm going to find it here in a sec. Look at their lineup, okay? They have a 7-footer who's 270, right? He could probably guard Garza. So then if they struggle shooting of Wieskamp and Bohannon and Frederick, if they can't make shots, then you get a little bit worried. But I just think that Garza's proven that he can put up numbers against anybody.
Sure.
Like I did say a couple episodes ago before the madness, I think it was actually the Monday one, watch out for Asbjorn Midgard, okay, the 7-footer from Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon is going to keep this close in the first half, but I think Iowa wins 80-61 would be my guess. And then Fran loses. Fran always loses before the Elite Eight, so I don't expect them to go that far. Then we'll go down to the East region now. Actually, we'll go to the right to the south, which is how it should always be done. Baylor and Hartford. We'll keep this one short and sweet. Who you got? Hartford?
Yep.
Okay.
Baylor, obviously.
I think people are forgetting how good Baylor is. If Baylor is playing the way they did early in the season. Okay. If Baylor regains their pre-COVID pause play, so much talent, this game should tune them up for a difficult round of 32. They're going to play North Carolina or Wisconsin. Baylor 103, Hartford 56, so 47. North Carolina, Wisconsin. This is a very hard pick. I've gone a lot of different ways on this one.
Taking North Carolina. I do not trust Wisconsin unless Trice goes crazy. I just don't trust them. They're on a downhill slide. Potter and Reavers just aren't putting it together in the middle
because they're terrible defensively. Yeah.
And they it's bad when when announcers say, I think Dockich said it, he said that Reavers and Potter had to hit 6 threes to try to beat Illinois. If your centers have to hit 6 threes, probably not going to win a lot of games.
I would say that's also true, but I am a little bit worried about the length that North Carolina has, and that's going to present issues for Wisconsin. But when you have an extremely experienced team against a team that's not very experienced at all, I'm going to take Wisconsin to win by 4. But this is a very hard matchup to go with because I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, I don't think North Carolina is very good at all, but Wisconsin has just been so horrendous. But
right,
I'll take the team that's in the better conference with the much more experience, I guess, is how I'm looking at this one. I don't know. We already talked about this one, Villanova, Winthrop. I'm taking Winthrop by 8, 79-71. And you like Winthrop as well?
Yes, sir.
All right. Purdue, I think there's no way Purdue loses this game. This is the only 4-13 where I didn't even think twice about it. I just think Purdue is so much better. And they have the perfect mix of youth and experience on this team. They have length. Trevion Williams is hard to guard. And the thing for this region is that Baylor is going to probably have to go through a Big Ten gauntlet. If Wisconsin wins, they'll play Wisconsin. If Purdue gets to the Sweet 16, they'll play Purdue. If Ohio State gets the Elite Eight, they'll play Ohio State.
Yeah.
This is a really hard region for Baylor if the chalk goes the way that it is possibly going to go. Texas Tech and Utah State. Now, I know in my shoot from the hip thing, I said Texas Tech was going to go to the Final Four.
You didn't.
I had them losing the first round.
The hip fires got pulled back, huh? I'm still taking Texas Tech. I like McClung. Utah State. I don't. They kind of snuck in, right? They had to beat Colorado State to get in. That was kind of like a play-in game. But yeah, Utah. I mean, I could see Utah State win this game, but
I'm really second guessing my pick.
I could see it.
I just think that Neemias Queta is going to be so hard for them to keep up with underneath, because the thing with Texas Tech is that Chris Beard teams, they can defend the perimeter extremely well. That's what they do. But Neemias Queta is going to be such a problem for them. Let me see who Texas Tech would have at the 5. That's what you got to be worried about if you're Texas Tech. And this is a Texas Tech team. You look at their losses, they don't have one bad loss. They lost to a 2-seed Houston, a 3-seed Kansas, a 1-seed Baylor, a 3-seed West Virginia twice, a 3-seed Kansas again, a 4-seed Oklahoma State, 1-seed Baylor, and then 3-seed Texas. They have some really good losses, but I'm a little worried about them at the 5. You're probably going to have Marcos Santos Silva there at the 5, 6'7", or you have Micah Peavy there, 6'7". One's a freshman. I mean, Neemias Queta is going to have a really good game. And
what do you got?
Utah State has length. That's the thing.
I only got the left side so far, and I haven't got the winner of the entire left side yet, though.
Nice.
So you want
to know my kids' picks for the West? Gonzaga, Mizzou, Creighton, Virginia, Wichita State, Kansas, VCU, Iowa.
I think the Wichita State.
So far, he's got two Big Ten teams in the Final Four. That's
which is Iowa and
Michigan.
I got Iowa beating Gonzaga.
Iowa beating Gonzaga, taking out the Zags in an offensive battle, 108 to 105.
I mean, they already did play once, and Gonzaga was up 20 the entire game. But I mean, Timmy and Garza, I'd sign up for that in the Elite Eight if the Ducks don't get there. The Ducks got to get there. And the Ducks losing the first round is not going to happen. But, the other thing is the Shockers, or I feel like the Shockers, if you're like a person that hasn't watched college basketball and you see their logo, I don't know how you can't root for that team.
Yeah, I think people see Wichita State and they automatically think they're going to win a couple. Like, that's just kind of been how it's been the last few years, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they had that team that was – didn't they have that team that was like almost undefeated that did they beat Kentucky in the second round? I think they did.
I think so, remember. Yeah.
That's kind of similar. It's not the same, but it's similar to Illinois getting hosed in the second round. True. I think every 8-9 game, whoever wins is going to be hard on the one other than Oklahoma, Missouri probably, right? So.
Yeah. Well, and that's – I mean, you look at it and, I guess that's how it should be. But, like, North Carolina, Wisconsin, not – the greatest teams, Missouri and Oklahoma, not the greatest, but then you got Loyola, Chicago, and then the team that won the ACC tournament
without their best player, though.
So Illinois has to face up against a team that won their last game of the season.
If they beat Drexel, got to worry about Drexel first.
If they beat Drexel, and then LSU, St. Bonaventure. I mean, they're both pretty good, both hot.
Yeah, they are. I am taking Utah State 66-63. I think at the end of the day, Neemias Queta, 7 foot 245, is going to be too much for them to handle. Arkansas against the toothpaste squad. I'll take Arkansas 83-72. Colgate's played nobody, so you're taking Arkansas?
They've only played three teams, right?
They played a total of 5 teams over 15 games now because they played Loyola Maryland for the first
literally
time.
Played nobody.
They played Bucknell and Loyola Maryland for the first time in the conference tournament. They played 3 teams leading into the conference tournament, but yeah, it's embarrassing. Then Florida, Virginia Tech, we already discussed. I like Florida. You like VA Tech, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I think Ohio State beats Oral Roberts by 20, but I think it's going to be close for the most of it. It's not the 15 seed that I would want to play if I'm Ohio State because you got 2 elite Summit League players and really overall players. I think Max Amos is as good of a scorer as there is in this region. I mean, he's right there. And, you have Kevin O'Bandor, who's also a stud. But I do think Ohio State's going to roll in this one. They're hard to keep up with. And if Washington is shooting the ball well, good. We got Charles Barkley in the tip-off show on here. That'll be good. I'm sure he pays attention to college hoops all year, right?
That's terrible.
It is. Let's go now to the Midwest region where the Illini are the 1 seed. Illinois Drexel, what do you got?
I got Illinois winning this.
I have Illinois 94-74.
Billion.
94-74. I think they'll be up by a lot. Then you'll have the Edgar Padilla crew come in, and it'll be a little bit bad. I think they'll be up like 90-58, and then 16-4 run for Drexel to close it out because the guys can't defend. They come in, but it would be nice to not have to worry about this game after the first half. But you never know with Illinois; they could really F us over. But whatever. Loyola, Chicago, Georgia Tech. Everything's changed with this game. Moses Wright's going to be out.
Right.
Cameron Krutwig's probably going to have a game. I still think Georgia Tech's very good and can still defend very well. And their coach is, big time.
Yes.
But this is going to be a defensive game. I mean, both these teams are extremely good defensively. I know the metrics may not back up the Yellow Jackets' defensive ability, but look at the Florida State game. They forced 1 million turnovers, and Loyola Chicago is number 1 in adjusted defense on KenPom. So, who do you got in this one?
I got Loyola Chicago, and I'm not very happy about it. I'm not happy that Illinois has to play one of these teams, regardless. But
I'm really not that worried about it.
You're more worried about Drexel?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't want to. You know how bad it would be if they lost that game?
Yeah.
It'd be the worst thing that's ever happened ever.
I think Sister Mary or whoever, what's her name?
Sister Jean. Yeah.
I think she was right when she said it's not right that the committee decided to put 2 Illinois teams.
I agree.
Having to battle each other.
Who if you had to flip the 8 seed would realistically any from the south or the east?
Who would I take? North Carolina, probably.
I think I might take LSU. They don't defend at all.
Yeah, I don't know. LSU's athleticism scares me.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm also taking Loyola Chicago. I was leaning a little bit towards them already, but the Moses Wright thing kind of pushed me over the top. 66-60 is what I would say. Loyola Chicago wins that one. Let's go Tennessee, Oregon State, and then Oklahoma State Liberty. Are you picking an upset in either of these?
Nope. Chalk. Tennessee. Give me Tennessee. Give me Oklahoma State.
Yeah, I do think it's more likely that Tennessee wins than Oklahoma State because I think people are kind of forgetting that number 1, Oklahoma State's an extremely young team that turns the ball over a lot and stupidly because they're so young. It's all sophomores and freshmen there, basically. I noticed they had Bernard Kuma on that team, who was enrolled at Illinois and then left, and now he plays there. He actually gets to play a little bit. He almost got completely postered by Jericho Sims against Texas. Would have been really bad for him. But, yeah, I'm going to take Oklahoma State to beat Liberty, but I think we should calm down on automatically putting Oklahoma State in the Sweet 16. Like, Tennessee will give them issues if they beat Liberty, and Liberty's a hard 13 seed to play. I think Liberty is the best 13 seed, honestly. Other than Ohio, I'd put them right together, but – San Diego State, Syracuse, and West Virginia, Morehead State. What do you got in these two?
And I'm going with chalk in San Diego State and West Virginia.
I am also doing that. I think a lot of people are going to pick Syracuse, but I am not. I'm not going to fall into that trap. Yep. I've done it before.
Screw out.
And yeah, I just think San Diego State's flat out tougher, better rebounding, actually play defense. So if Buddy Bam's not hitting shots, Syracuse might not even be in this game after the first half.
Right.
So then West Virginia should have no problem. I got them winning by 20 in that game. Rutgers, Clemson, and then Houston, Cleveland State to round out the Midwest bracket.
I'm going to stick with the Big Ten doing things. I got Rutgers winning, and then I got Houston winning.
Yeah, I got Rutgers by 8. This could be a first to 50 wins game because these teams are very defensive oriented. But if I'm gonna pick the team naturally that has more playmakers on offense, and that's Rutgers. It's not really that close. And then Houston's gonna dominate Cleveland State, no doubt about that for me. Even though I wouldn't be that surprised if a 2 seed lost in the first round, if it happened. But I would lean towards it maybe being Iona, maybe. But I don't think it's gonna happen. But
no,
whatever. Michigan, Texas Southern is what we have. Are you going to wait until you see Texas Southern play? I mean,
I don't know if the shorts can do it. I'm gonna have Michigan win this. Any word on Livers yet?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't really think they're going to have any problems in the first couple rounds, whether he plays or not, to be honest.
Right.
A lot of people are worried about them against LSU. I'm not. I mean, I think he'll end up playing at some point if they get far enough.
Sure.
By the way, I just saw a tweet because they're doing the tip-off thing right now with Andy Katz, who's a moron, Ernie Johnson, Kenny the Jet, and Chuck Barkley in Atlanta. And here's Kenny Smith's Final Four. It's embarrassing. Kansas, Michigan, Tennessee, North Carolina. I know he went to North Carolina, but woo! My guy Sean Paul from MakingTheMadness.com tweeted that, said, I could find a 3-year-old that can guess and make a better Final Four than that. That's absolutely horrific. I mean, that is bad, man. Really, really bad. Really bad. Do you think it's bad?
It's real bad.
All right. Hang on a sec here. And we go. Okay. LSU St. Bonaventure.
LSU.
I'm taking the Bonnies, 78-70. I'm going against people on this one. You got a very veteran-like team for the Bonnies, 4 guards that average over 10 a game. They're all juniors. You got a junior center, Oshuniyi, who blocks shots like there's no tomorrow. I like him. And I'll take the Bonnies in this game to actually play some defense. Let's go now to Colorado, Georgetown, and then Florida State, UNC, Greensboro.
I got the 2 favorites, Colorado and FSU.
I know you're a big, huge fan of
Buffalo
the Seminoles and the Buffaloes.
Buffalo!
Both teams you like. I don't know why anybody thinks that Georgetown has a chance in this game. Did we forget how bad they are? I think people forgot that they're not any good.
Yeah.
That's probably, I think their biggest issue is they're not good. So I will take Colorado by 16. I'll take Florida State by 10. So there you go. Then we got, are you going to pick the 6-11 here?
I don't have one yet.
I got BYU beating Michigan State by 3 because Matt Harms is going to control the paint in that game defensively. I'm telling you.
I'm pretty sure that Michigan State has handled Matt Harms before.
Yeah, but Michigan State this year, they had Xavier Tillman when they did it last year. This year, they have nobody underneath against 7'3" guy.
That's true.
So,
but he weighs $110, soaking wet.
Yeah, but the problem for them also is is Gonzaga can do that to BYU, but Michigan State doesn't have the shooting to do that to BYU.
True. From
the perimeter. They can shoot the mid-rangers, but it's going to be a little harder to go underneath when you got 7'3", 110 on you, So Texas is going to beat Abilene Christian by 21, but don't discount Abilene Christian. They're pretty good defensively, but Texas is there's a hot pick here.
Yeah. This is my all chalk bracket. So
you got UConn
and Bama. So
I also have UConn and Bama.
But I also have a 4 seed coming out of this. The Knowles.
All right. So let's go to the second round. Run me down on your picks in the second round in the West region.
I got the Zags over Missouri. I got the one everybody's taking, UCSB over Virginia. I got Kansas beating whoever they decide to play. And then you got me high on the Ducks. So I got the Ducks going to the Sweet 16.
All right. I got Gonzaga over Missouri. I have Ohio over Creighton. I have USC over Kansas and Oregon over Iowa. Iowa's biggest problem in this tournament is going to be a team that can either shoot with them or a team that's athletic and lengthy and defends, and Oregon does that. I think Oregon wins that. Let's go to the South.
The South, I got Baylor beat North Carolina. I got Purdue over Winthrop, Arkansas over Texas Tech, and Virginia Tech over Ohio State.
All right. I have Virginia take over Ohio State.
I do.
I don't think that's going to happen, but we'll see. Well, I've seen crazier, I guess, but I don't know about that. I mean, Ohio State, they're going to be a very popular pick to get the Elite Eight.
Good. That means I'm going to win some money when Virginia Tech does it.
All right. I'll take Baylor over Wisconsin. I'll take Purdue over Winthrop. I will take Arkansas over Utah State. And I'll take Ohio State over Florida in the Urban Meyer matchup in the second round. Let's go to the Midwest.
Midwest, I got Illinois over Loyola Chicago. I got Tennessee beating Oklahoma State. West Virginia over San Diego State. And I got the Rutgers. What are
Scarlet Knights?
Scarlet Knights beating Houston.
Really? Okay.
I do.
I'll take Illinois over the Ramblers. I'll take Oklahoma State over Tennessee. West Virginia over San Diego State. And Houston over Rutgers.
I just noticed that I only have 1 2 seed making it out of the second round. So
that's a tough one there. That's a tough sell. Yeah. Let's go to the East region.
Michigan over LSU. I know in the hip, I had Michigan losing second round. I don't see that happening now. Florida State over Colorado. Texas over whoever they play. And Alabama over UConn.
All right, I will take Michigan over St. Bonaventure. I'll take Florida State over Colorado, Texas over BYU, and UConn over Alabama. So, who did you have Alabama losing or winning? You had them winning?
I had them winning.
Okay, so they're the only 2 seeds you got winning. So I have
correct.
I have 3 2 seeds getting to the second round or getting to the Sweet 16. You have 1.
All
right. Let's go to Sweet 16, West Region, Sweet 16. Go for it.
I got Gonzaga beating UCSB, and I got Kansas over the Ducks of your Rubik's Cubes.
All right. I'll take Gonzaga over Ohio, and I will take Oregon over USC, the Oregon Rubik's Cubes, as you said. On to the Elite Eight they go. What about the South?
The South, I got Baylor over Purdue and Arkansas over Virginia Tech.
All right. I have Baylor over Purdue and Ohio State over Arkansas. I don't love the must bus in the Elite Eight. I think they can get to the Sweet 16, but I don't think Arkansas can get the Elite Eight.
Here, huh?
Yeah. Let's go to the Midwest.
I got Illinois over Tennessee and West Virginia over Rutgers.
I have Illinois over Oklahoma State, West Virginia over Houston. East we go.
East, I got Florida State over Michigan and Alabama over Texas.
Florida State over Michigan and Texas over UConn for me. So that means we're set up to where we both have Gonzaga, Oregon in the West.
Mm-hmm. No, Kansas.
Okay, so Gonzaga, Kansas, which is a weird pick.
Shh.
And then we have.
I got Baylor, Arkansas in the South.
Yeah, I have Baylor, Ohio State, and whoa, my God, the light just turned on in here. Jesus, scared the F out of me. Illinois, West Virginia.
Yep.
Right. And then Florida State, Alabama for you, Florida State, Texas for me.
Correct.
Okay, so we have one similar matchup. All right, let's do the West, and let's do West and South here for the Elite Eight.
And I will say that this is my heart pick is what I'd call this bracket. But
Jeez.
I got Gonzaga getting to the Final Four and over Kansas. And what one did you want me to do?
The South.
Oh, South. And I got Baylor over Arkansas.
So you have Gonzaga, Baylor.
Yep.
Okay, I have Gonzaga over Oregon. That's going to be a really good game. I think that's going to be the type of game where, like, oh, man, Gonzaga might lose this game, and they make a big comeback and win. Kind of like the BYU game for them.
Yeah, against the Oregon Rubik's Cubes. I'm sure that's going to be a real tough game for them.
It is, yeah. I'll take Baylor over Ohio State. I think that'll be another close game. So I also have Gonzaga, Baylor on the top. Let's go now to the East and Midwest.
I got the Seminoles of Florida State over Alabama, making it to the Final Four. And then I got the Illinois Fighting Illini over West Virginia.
I mean, I'd be pretty surprised if the 4 seed that makes it to the Final Four is Florida State, but we'll see. I mean, I think you're the only one that's picking that, so that's original. I like that. I'm going with the typical Final Four. I didn't really mean to do this, but I couldn't see anything else happening.
Oh my goodness.
Texas over Florida State and Illinois over West Virginia. So Gonzaga, Baylor, Texas, Illinois, which is probably the most common Final Four there is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Gonzaga, Baylor, Illinois has to be the most common one. And then it's either Bama or Texas, it seems like.
But everyone's disregarding how good Illinois' path is going to be, how hard it's going to be.
How hard it's going to be. I agree.
Yeah.
And that's why I said this is the one where I'll probably do another one, and I'm not going to have Illinois winning.
I'm only doing one on paper, so I'm going all in on this one.
That's good.
Championship
game.
We
we can count this as the one that I do with us.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. What do you got?
Championship. I got Gonzaga versus Illinois. It didn't change from shoot from the hip. I think Illinois is gonna mop the floor with Baylor after getting beat by them earlier in the year.
Okay. I have Gonzaga over Texas, and I have Baylor over Illinois.
The matchup everyone didn't get to see.
Yep.
I think they did this on purpose.
Yes. They didn't want to put Illinois in the 2. Well, I guess it wouldn't have mattered because it would have been flipped.
Right.
Anyway, I'll take Baylor to win it all over Gonzaga.
Going with the Bears.
31-1 for Gonzaga this year. That's what I'm saying.
Wow.
So
what do you think Baylor does that can beat Gonzaga?
Defend the perimeter and rebound.
Okay.
And they need their shooters to shoot. Baylor has the shooting to keep up with Gonzaga. If anybody does, it's them.
Shooters definitely shoot. So
6 guys shooting over 40% from deep for Baylor. So,
all right.
We'll see if Kenny Smith nails his Final Four with 8 seed North Carolina in there, and Michigan and whoever else, Tennessee or something. I mean, what an embarrassment. Anyway, let me see before these games start in about 10 minutes. In terms of tomorrow's schedule, if we look at the windows here, and since you don't have it in front of you, I'll pull this image up on the screen because I have it on paper, obviously. We'll rank the windows of the games the next 2 days for the first round. So let me find this here. Here we go. Wait a sec. All right. Here we go. Dang it. Okay. All right. Ready?
Yep.
All right.
That's
You see it now?
I do.
Okay. We'll start from what is the worst window? So it's 4 windows, 4 games, you know the deal. What is the worst window in terms of viewing experience tomorrow?
I'd say 2.
The Ohio State window?
Yeah. Ohio State, Oral Roberts, you got 2-1, or you got a 1 and a 16, a 2 and a 15, and then a 5 and a 12. Oregon State's going to get pummeled. Only good game in that is going to be the Loyola Georgia Tech game. So
I'll say the worst is the first window because Florida Virginia Tech is an extremely uninteresting game for most people. Probably, I'll watch it. Arkansas is going to paste Colgate. Nailed it. Illinois should have no problem with Drexel, and then Utah State Tech's intriguing, but in my opinion, there's one really good game in the first window, and one really good game in the second window. But I actually want to see what Oral Roberts and Ohio State is because I think that could end up being a pretty good game. So I'll say that the worst window is the first one. What do you got for the third window? I guess the third best, we'll say. Or second worst.
Oh, second worst. I would go with 1.
Okay, so we'll just flip. I'll say 2 is the.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll just say what's the best now? Best window. I think the bottom one is the best slightly.
I think that those 2 are pretty comparable. I want to see North Carolina, Wisconsin, and North Texas, who's saying that they won't just make a deep run like somebody predicted the other day. But and you seem to think Liberty is gonna
give Oklahoma City game.
So I think that's That's probably the one I want to watch the most.
The bottom one is the best because I think there's 3 really good games in the bottom window, and there's really only 2 interesting games in the third window because West Virginia, Morehead State's nothing, but the other 3 are really good, I think. And then I think North Carolina, Wisconsin, Oklahoma State, Liberty are the only ones that are really that worth watching for me, for the average fan. Not for me because I'll be watching all of them, but yeah, that's how I go. So I would say in the order that I would go is bottom is the best, then second is the window before that, and then the third is the it's just in the same order, I guess, whatever.
Yeah.
It's backwards order. So, and then you have it flipped with the first and the second window. All right, let's go to second day, Saturday, which is weird that we're doing this first round on a Saturday, but whatever. We'll just go from best to worst here. What do you think the best window is for this one?
Um,
I feel like it's got to be the bottom, right? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the third one I think is going to be good. I'd probably go with 3.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll go with 3 as well, just slightly because Virginia, Ohio is a good 4-13 game. UConn, Maryland's a good 7-10. Oklahoma, Missouri is not great. Probably the worst 8-9 game, but it is an 8-9 game. So, and then Grand Canyon should do something with Iowa, right? Like,
We'll see.
lose by 40, right?
We'll see. 14.5.
What do you think the second best window is? The bottom one?
Probably. I mean, you got
Second one's pretty good. Creighton, UCSB, UCLA,
right. That's
or
close.
USC, Wichita State or Drake. It's not bad. Iona.
It all looks good.
Yeah,
It's
Saturday's much better than Friday.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Do they have a schedule up for like Sunday? Like what time Illinois would play if they win?
I think they don't. I don't know. I'll see if I can find that out. But what I do know about this whole thing is that we have a tournament, right? That's common knowledge.
We do have a tournament.
Yeah, I don't see a schedule here for any of that. But I do see some extremely important NIT games or whatever this is.
Oh, yeah.
So that'll be good on Monday. Very exciting. But, yeah, so it's all about to start in about 5 minutes. Mount St. Mary's, the champion that I picked out of the NEC conference, taking on Texas Southern.
The NEC.
And that's where we'll leave this off. We will
all right.
probably do something with the Illini podcast after their first game, I guess. And then in terms of this, we'll be doing by Tuesday after the first 2 rounds, something like this. Podcast-wise, I'll actually upload that. But this was just a fun live show. So that'll be that. And we'll see you next week, this week as well, and the coming weeks of all time forever. Okay, see you.
Week or so.